I walked out of Shazam thinking it was just great. I laughed, I cried, and I had a good time overall. But diving more into it, Shazam is not only great, it's a forking masterpiece. This is easily one of DC's best, and nothing can come close to it. Closest thing that can is Wonder Woman. The film is not just filled with comedy and action like the trailer showed. There are some real emotions here, depth added to these characters, from Billy to Dr. Savannah to even Freddy. A lot of effort was put into this, and it makes for an enjoyable, even emotional watch. But this video isn't about Shazam per se. I want to talk about how DC makes better films when they focus on the characters instead of the universe they're in. This is when DC does it right. To start off, we have the hero. The hero can't solely be muscular and in a flashy suit. In order for the audience to cheer for the hero, they must be connected with the viewer. Best way of doing that is fleshing out the hero. Each solo film did a good job at getting the hero fleshed out than when they did in the superhero team-up film. In Wonder Woman, Diana only knows about what she's been told about for her whole life. When she goes to London with Steve Trevor, she discovers a whole new world and learns more than she knew before. She's not very easy to connect with at the start, until she builds a bond with Steve and understands everything. By the time she truly rises, in the No Man's Land scene, it's easy to cheer for her because of her change and development. She went from only knowing about what she'd been told, to a fish out of water in a new world, and finally rose to not only stand for her, but the people she grew attached to. Now let's take a look at Aquaman. Pretty much a drunk who does things his own way. We see he's a prick in the film's opening when he chooses not to save David Kane's father. And this is a member of the Justice League? Anyways, we continue to see he's a prick when he refuses Mara's offer to come home and stop Orm. Which, side note, is a weird scene that kind of retcons Justice League. But anyways, once he learns about Orm, he changes, saying that Orm is the true dick that must be stopped. His rise comes to play late in the game when, spoiler, he finds out his mom is alive and helps him. While Aquaman doesn't have the best in itself for development, it's still something. Finally, we got Billy Batson. Spoilers for Shazam incoming. We learned that Billy has been an orphan for quite some time and has been running away from foster homes to try and find his mother. He goes into this loving home but wants out. He then grows a friendship with Freddy, who, when getting bullied, gets help from Billy. That leads to the subway scene, and 20 to 25 minutes into a film called Shazam, the word is finally said. The film did a great job at setting up Billy, giving him depth and a solid personality. Just when you think getting superpowers will change his ways, think again. He's still a 15-year-old, just with superpowers. He's a goof with Freddy until Dr. Savannah enters the picture and threatens Billy with something he never thought he'd find: his family. Our heroes start off with nothing special, meet someone that would change their lives, and then rise to become the hero they were born to be. That's how it should be done, not by shoehorning them into a big superhero team-up film. Take a look at the Flash and Cyborg in Justice League. With their origins not being shown, instead are told through dialogue, they're just there because of their powers. No real personalities either. Actually, the Flash is just there to be comedic relief.
He's confused. He doesn't know who he is.
That cemetery.
Cyborg is just there to be the science tech guy. It's weak character building and no development involved. They're just one-note characters. Now let's take a look at the villains, which isn't DC's strong suit. Sorry, Zod. Ares wasn't anywhere in the film until the third act, and even then, he looked a bit ridiculous. Steppenwolf was a joke. Let's just keep it at that. The one true villain that was finally meaningful was Orm. There was actual effort put into Orm, and more than just being the evil brother. We learned that Orm blames Arthur for their mother's execution, and his motive is to clear the surface world because of their evil doing. Of course, the film makes it better than I try to say it, but I think I did okay. Orm became DC's first solid villain after a few missed attempts. He has a motive, hates Arthur for something that wasn't exactly his fault, but still took the blame for, and wants to clean up after the humans' mess by taking them out. That's better than someone who wants to collect 3 boxes to call his boss to have him destroy the world. Now let's take a look at Dr. Sivana. Again, spoilers. When Sivana was young, he was transported to the Rock of Eternity, but failed to resist the temptations of the sins, and failed to gain the powers of Shazam. Many years later, he returns and harnesses the powers of the sins. Once learned about Billy, he must fight him and become powerful. Sounds pretty flat, but the film gives Sivana depth. Before he's transported to the Rock of Eternity, he's in a car ride with his father and older brother. When he gets back, the temptations of the sins causes them to get in a huge accident. When he returns much older to the Rock of Eternity to harness the powers of the sins, he goes after his father and brother first, implying that he always hated them and was never full of heart. So we are shown about their past instead of being told, much like Ares and Steppenwolf. This makes for great conflict and confrontation between the hero. Both are drawn out well and fleshed out, and the fight will feel meaningful, not just one-sided, i.e. Wonder Woman and Ares. The next aspect in which DC gets right with these solo films are their hero's journey. What exactly is the hero's journey? Pretty much one guide that everyone should follow when telling a story. It starts off with our hero in familiar territories, living their lives as they do, when suddenly they get a call to adventure. For Diana, it was Steve Trevor in World War I. For Arthur, it was Mera and the war started by Orm. For Billy, it was Shazam passing his powers down. We then see them cross the threshold and enter a new world. Diana in the humans world, Arthur in Atlantis, and Billy being an older person with superpowers. This is a great way to set up the hero, getting to know them and their personalities before their journey even begins. We then see the hero go through some challenges. For Diana, it's to lay low. For Arthur, he challenges Orm, loses, and goes off to find his trident. For Billy, it's to try out his new powers, goof around, and learn how to be a hero. These challenges help build character. They start to change our hero from how they started. Next comes the revelation. This is where the hero, quote unquote, dies and reborns. Basically when they're down on their luck, but come back stronger after learning what they have to do. This is where the story becomes impactful and adds so much to the heroes. It's also where the hero's development grows and changes the most. Take a look at Aquaman. The scene where he picks up the trident, he comes to learn he must save his people and become the one true king. That was his rebirth, his full superhero's transformation, which is actually the next step in the hero's journey. When he steps out of that waterfall in his comic accurate suit, he's reborn and now can fight to become the one true hero. This leads to atonement, where he is one with his true self. Same goes for Diana and Billy when they face their evils. They come back to be the heroes they were destined to be. Finally, they go back to their normal lives and live happily ever after. That is, until the next villain comes along. The final aspect DC got right with these three, that they should always keep doing, is to just be fun. Wonder Woman was fun, Aquaman was fun, and Shazam What's fun? You can have all your films be fun and not worry about being dark and broody. Your films don't have to be dark and broody. Put some joy and effort and you'll have better films. Also, don't worry about your shared universe. In time, all the pieces will come together. But for now, don't worry about it. Shortest aspect of the three, but it's straight to the point. DC's lineup in the future is looking real good with these three being the headlines. Not to mention Birds of Prey and the super long title of Harley Quinn, the Matt Reeves Young Batman film, and James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Safe to say, we're in for quite the ride. Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam? Do you have high hopes for the DCEU? Leave your comments down below and I'll see you next time.